content can get you rich, not necessarily wealthy.
To people who think that it's hard to make money, you just got to be creative sometimes.
You have to treat that thing like an expensive hobby until it pays off for you. Now, what this equates to is $6,000 a month is going to break down to about $1,500 a week. That's going to break down to about $214 per day. It's really not hard to make $300, $400, $500 a day. You can't be a victim in this space. Make your content meaningful, solve problems with your content, and always have a call to action. You're coming with me this week so that we can earn $6,000 a month consistently. Then we're going to start scaling this business because, okay? Now, what this equates to is $6,000 a month is going to break down to about $1,500 a week. That's going to break down to about $214 per day. And the main way that I plan on doing this is with 2 particular products. So it's either going to be that I sell 3 of those products per day or 7 signups of the other product per day or some combination of both. I'm not even really super attached to the numbers, but you have to have numbers to be able to tangibly talk about business. So I want to grow my business. It's not necessarily about how much I earn, but I do want to consistently see growth, and I can't track growth with ambiguous things like grow my business. So today I learned something new and I'm going to share that with y'all, and as soon as we learn new things, we implement them. Last week, something that I learned about live, I was really struggling with my engagement in my live, and when I went from doing what I was doing to doing what Coach Denisha told me to do, which was a few things: ask engaging questions, be very direct, tell people things that you want to see them repeat in the live stream or say in the chat. And I know that these things work because anytime I'm in a live stream where I'm really engaged with the live stream and I don't want to leave, it's because people are doing those things. Now, I watched another creator, his name is Jalen. I do pop into his lives from time to time because he also gives information. He said that the best times to go live is between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then if you're going to go in the evening between, like, I think he says 7 p.m. and 11 p.m., which I always go from like 9 till 11. Me making those changes initially, I started consistently seeing 50 to 100 people consistently in my room. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that actually is. And I know that is going to continue to grow. So I'm really excited about that. Now, the other aspect that we often forget is that live stream shows up on people's FYP. So we definitely want to do that. So something I'm going to be doing is continuing to go live every day. Now, live stream, I anticipate is going to be the thing that gets me through the minimum threshold, because I have been consistently getting sales with live stream and email marketing, but I know that live stream is really effective because people get that face-to-face interaction with you. You're hitting their trigger points in real time and you're showing them that you can actually solve their problem. I only posted once on TikTok, but I've said before, I'm not going to be worrying so much about that. Just to give you an update so far, I posted 2 videos for TikTok Shop this week, and I mentioned that I'm not going to be making that a big focus because I really want to focus on building my business and not being super distracted. I love TikTok Shop money, but so today it's 1 o'clock. I'm only at $49 for the day, 11 items sold, and I'm in the red. Like my things are down. But the good thing is I'm glad I posted the cookbook that I posted a couple days ago, yesterday, because it's actually picking up traction pretty well. I have 7 sales of that cookbook already today, and it's at 53,000 views. People are really loving the way that I did that video, and it's a non-traditional way that I did the video. So I'm just checking in with y'all on that because y'all know that I've been planting the seed of TikTok Shop for so long that if you post TikTok Shop videos consistently for an extended period of time, you can stop posting and you will still earn money. That's really what I'm getting at here. Hey, I did the podcast a minute ago. I posted my video on TikTok. I made sure that with the podcast, I had my call to action and I'm putting my links. This is also why I encourage people to just start, because when I first started the podcast, when I first started YouTube, I wasn't trying to monetize anything. I didn't have links to click and go here and do this program. But now, with the help of my mentor, with having more clarity in my business, every piece of content has a purpose. So everything is different. Even the way that I'm running this page now is different because I know what I want to do here. So I'm going to be running it in a different way. And so it's nothing wrong with starting before you know how to do everything, and then learning and continuing to learn and adjusting based on what you learn. So in my business, something that I've learned is make your content meaningful, solve problems with your content, and always have a call to action. Because there's nothing worse than you post a video with no call to action, not directing people back to your page, not directing them to get one of your products, and that video goes viral and you realize that you lost the opportunity to have made connection and meaningful sales and engagements with people. So that's something I'm going to be working on. I'm also going to be more diligent about posting to my stories.
So y'all, I went live for about 30 minutes. I taught a lesson that I've been teaching, changed it up a little bit. I do think it helps to have like the gift of gab, but I think more than having the gift of gab, you have to like really be passionate about what you're talking about so that you can actually speak with conviction. Like, you need to be polarizing. You need to actually believe what you're saying. Like, you can't be, I don't think live selling is the place for neutrality. I think you really need to be into what you're saying. And so I'm able to speak with conviction, teach these things, and then make the offer at the end. So at the end of this live, I got a sale immediately. And then I have some people that messaged me. I need to actually reach out to them, but I didn't feel like dealing with it right now. Somebody asked me how to book a one-on-one session. Y'all know that's my high ticket item. My one-on-ones are really not expensive, but they're like a higher end product, and it's placed that way because I really do value my time, and I feel like people will waste your time if you let them. But it's 3 sessions in one package, but you have to pay that one price, and we booked the 3 sessions. So somebody asked me about that, although I don't know if I'm going to take him up on the offer because he's a man and I don't coach men. But I'm going to, I don't let people just pay for that flat out. I always send them a questionnaire. So when I get back inside, I'm going to send that to him. But I definitely got a sale. It's like, I just made $100 for less than an hour's worth of work. And I know that sale came from that live because of the code that I gave in that sale. So that felt really good. And like I said, y'all know what I mentioned earlier today is I want to make sure that I'm hitting my quota every day. So I'm going to go live again tonight. I'm not really going to be pushing for sales. Tonight is to build community. I actually just got off the phone with Regis. Tonight is going to be about building community and kind of having that going on. But I did want to report to y'all that that was the easiest money I've ever made. I didn't send an email. I didn't make up. I just sat there and talked about what I would talk about anyway. And so imagine if you do that every day. Imagine if I had stayed on there even longer, because the fact that I was able to do that within 30 minutes, basically at the end, people were like, where do I sign up? Like, do you do coaching? Do you do this? How do I sign up? I always say it just takes one product. Y'all know I got back home. It's 5 o'clock. And I'm now at $92 in commission, and most of the sales are coming from the cookbook. People are really responding well to the book. I haven't been posting as much. I told y'all with TikTok shop, and I'm not about to make that my focus. I am going to post more of this book because I'm genuinely about to be cooking these recipes. Like, the book is amazing, but I also noticed people are responding really well to it for the fact that I presented it in the light of something for the culture. But he's a Black chef. He's married. So I started the video off like it was a lot of nonverbal communication or like undertones in my video. I opened it up. I said, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to show y'all the clip. First of all, Mr. Green, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Second, this is extensive. And let me show y'all how big the book is. Taller than the cup. Thick as a calculus textbook. And we love red beans, but can we talk about how we got options? You can make it in the pressure cooker. You can also make it in the slow cooker, but you can also just do it old school on the pot, on the stove. Mind you, I haven't even tried any of these recipes yet, but the fact that there are so many, the fact that there are drinks, and this got to be for the culture, because watermelon, basil, limeade. But I'm also really in love with the branding of it. And I still don't know how to play spades, but this is so funny to me. It's a little education in there, because do you know the differences between charcoal and propane grills? I didn't. But seriously, this really does mean so much to me to have this, because I'm the person who makes all of this food for my family that I don't even eat. And like I said, it's not just recipes. There's also just general education in here. Things that you probably didn't even know that you did not know. But the way that I presented it was making it very clear that it's an extensive collection of recipes for Black people. And I wanted to highlight that because that's something he did. Like, he put it together. It's very characteristic. He has like funny little phrases, but also watermelon basil lemonade. That's so black. Like that. I mean, anybody can make it, but like that's so black coded. And also he had like a reference to spades, and a lot of the references that he makes in the book, it just feels like you know him. Or however long that video is, that's how long it took me to do it, because I was just flipping through the pages. I didn't show myself, didn't prepare anything. Easiest review I've ever done. To people who think that it's hard to make money, you just got to be creative sometimes. I look like this because I was about to take a nap, but I'm dedicated to telling y'all what I'm about to tell you. I feel like I've finally come to the place where, although content is the main thing that fuels my business, it's not such a heavy content pushing machine. And this is why I say in the beginning, when you have the energy, push all of that content out so you can figure out what direction to go in, so you can figure out what works. So before I met with my mentor, I was making content constantly. Based on my ideas. There was no real organization to it. It was just whatever's on my mind, whatever's on my heart, that's what I'm going to produce content about. To a certain extent, I still do that, but it is much more organized. So I have this is for the month of November. It's still October, but this is my content calendar. When I do this, it helps me to work smarter, not harder. Before the past couple of weeks, I would push out 7 to 10 videos a day. Some of them would be TikTok shop, some of them would be for my business. I stopped focusing on TikTok shop. I'm only going to be doing hobby things and like things related to what I talk about. I'm a woman, I'm a mother, and I help moms and wives. So if the TikTok shop items have nothing to do with that, I'm not promoting them. Me using this system is I don't have to push out as much content. I just have to push out intentional content. And so as a result, I have a lower output of content, still quality, right? Like I'm not pushing out, hoping for virality. It's just every piece of content has a purpose. And where I'm making up for me making less content is going live. Does it take longer to go live? Yes. But is it a better investment for where I am on my journey? Also, yes. I still don't want to work all day. That's just not my thing. I do work all day in theory as an entrepreneur, as a content creator, as a business. Like your ideas are everywhere. So I am working all day. I'm always thinking about work. But when I say I don't want to work all day, I mean I don't want to be doing laborious tasks like glued to my computer all day long. So that's that. Also, I don't know if I've ever said this, but one thing I do love about TikTok Shop is it has the potential to blow up a small business. Like this man is obviously he has like 1 million some odd followers. But I'm like, man, making that video, I helped generate $1,000 for his business today, just from making one video. And I just think that that's beautiful. Like I know a lot of people feel like they're tired or fatigued with TikTok shop, but some of my best performing and honestly favorite products come from people who are small business owners. So like I know when I publish my book, I'm going to list it on TikTok shop as well as my website, because if I'm on TikTok and I know the value of TikTok shop and the value of just one video taking off, of course I'm going to put my book out there so that people can buy it if they like what I have to say behind my video. And who better to promote my own book than myself? If you're a business owner and you're thinking about getting on TikTok shop as in not as an affiliate, but like to sell your products, do. Just finished my live stream and I think I might be addicted to the live. No, seriously, I love chatting and I love having these conversations. And this is when I say like you have to be more focused on being solutions oriented, because not everybody's going to be ready to work with you just because you have products, right? But you can build trust with your community. Okay. Live stream is done. I'm going to do a live tomorrow and maybe Sunday. I haven't really decided what I want to do. Tomorrow's live, I'm going to be more so promoting the group chat element because I'm going to be building that community. I already have an invested community that enjoys spending time with me, enjoys talking to each other. So I know that the group chat is going to do well. Unfortunately, the deeper I get into the trenches of making content, the more I align and agree with the fact that it is not hard to make money. It is not hard to create money. Most of us are just unfortunately conditioned in the worst way possible, and so we don't think about these things. I don't think people understand like content can get you rich, not necessarily wealthy. Not like you getting a whole bunch of money is not necessarily going to make you wealthy. It's not going to change your financial habits. It's not going to change the fact that you can't control your spending if you can't control your spending. Because if you start getting $1,000 a day but you're spending $900 a day, it's just like having a 9-to-5. You're going to be living paycheck to paycheck, right? But aside from that, I'm talking about more so accumulation, because there's so many people who talk about the struggles that they have. There's so many people who talk about the ways that they just need extra help, or they just need this, or they just need that.
And I don't think people realize how much content creation can bridge that financial gap for you. And you can have a business and you create content from that business. So I'm generating money from my business, but then because I'm monetized on all my platforms and I'm continuing to grow, I also make money from those platforms. TikTok pays me, TikTok Shop pays me. The Creator Rewards Program, which is TikTok, Instagram and Facebook through their Meta program, YouTube. Even if you're not monetized on those platforms, you can get paid to post because you would be making content for your business and growing your business. And I've said before, you don't need millions and millions of followers to make money. I made thousands of dollars before I ever saw 10,000 followers in my community. And I don't think that people understand that either. It's all about understanding where you can take your brand, understanding direction. It's all about learning like partnership and things. And it's also not being afraid to learn and implement what you learn. I'm not saying I'm super well paid from content, but I'm pretty comfortably compensated for what I do. And the reason that I've been able to do that, I do believe it is, I don't overwork myself, but I don't overlook the importance of growth and information and actually taking that information in. So at no point will I ever think that I know everything, which is why I treat this more of like a documentation process than like a, hey, I know it all. Even when I know something about a particular topic, I'm like, this is what I learned so far. And then I'm going to keep going. Understanding that things are going to change, understanding that your outlook is going to change, understanding that new opportunities are always out there, understanding that if something is not working, there's something that you can do to fix it. You can't be a victim in this space. But if you learn how to not be a victim and you just do it and try to be better every single time, use the tools of your time. I've read so many books. I've taken in so much free content from people. I've also paid for things. Like I mentioned to y'all that I did the Make More Offers challenge. I have not invested in my education. Other than that, I have had some high value resources that thank God I didn't have to pay for through my mentorship, through my cohort, that I otherwise would have had to pay like thousands and thousands of dollars for, but I'm getting those things for free. So if I were not in that program, I would have spent more money and invested more in my business. I have taken to purchasing tools and things that are going to make it easier for me. But I do want to say that there was a point where before I was really getting paid regularly, where I was dishing out money just to present all of this stuff. It's not free to have a website, and I've had a website for over a year. Once I made when I made my first product, after my audience was like, hey, do you do this? Do you do this? This was around the time that I hit 10K. When I started doing wifey school, I built a website because I needed somewhere to host these products that I was creating, and I had to pay for that website every month. And so I didn't necessarily know what that was going to look like long term or if I was going to be able to sustain it, but I did it. Podcast. It's free to host a podcast on certain platforms, but the frequency through which I push out my content for my podcast, it actually costs me money, and it has from the beginning. So I had to be okay with that. I have Zoom, which I use professionally and personally, but I use it professionally for all of my live programs. Had to pay for that out of pocket. Just other little things too. I don't even have to itemize everything, but I know that from the beginning there have been things that I was paying for, and I was okay with that. Like when I say you have to treat your business, content creation, the thing that is not what is traditionally done in the world, you have to treat that thing like an expensive hobby until it pays off for you. And I think that will work for just about anyone. If you are on the fence about content, if you're on the fence about doing social media in general and you have ideas and you're creative, get out of your head and start creating, because this is something that can be an incredible blessing for you. This is something that can be an incredible opportunity for you. I had always thought about like this concept of not working as hard, but then it takes a while for it to come to fruition. Like, what is it that I'm supposed to do and what does that even mean? But now I understand, like, it's really not hard to make $300, $400, $500 a day without stressing yourself out. And the funniest thing is, content creation can be something that's active and passive, but it first has to be active. Let me use the example of the video that I posted on TikTok Shop. In the past 2 days, it's made me $500. One video that might not even be a minute long. The video's at 318,000. The video is a minute and 34 seconds. And that is how long it took me to film it, because it's not a video that's heavily edited. I didn't even do a voiceover. I was just talking as I was flipping through the pages. My face is not even in it. But that's just one example, and that's just one pillar of what I'm doing. And that's just one product from TikTok Shop. So that's not even all the money that I've made on TikTok Shop. That's not even all the money that I've collected digitally from my business, from the monetization programs, because you also have to think that I make regular videos. So I'm monetized in that regard. And so these videos that are generating 500,000 views, 200,000 views, over 1,000,000 views every single month, I'm getting paid for those too. And I tell people continually, you should just post, because it only takes a couple of videos to go viral every single month for you to make a couple $1,000s. You just need, I don't know, 1 to 2 videos a month that go over 1,000,000 views. And that sounds very daunting, but it's not difficult at all if you're posting every day and you're being intentional with your messaging. So, and again, I count those to be things that are like bonuses, because in my business, I want to make sure that I'm doing that. But imagine my business has a down day. I still have all these other options. So even if my business isn't making the 200 to 300 minimum that I want to see, wow, this other avenue of being paid is making me $200 to $300. That's really cool. And I don't want you to overlook that. And that's all that I have to share today. I posted 2 videos today. 2 videos. And one of them I just posted before I started recording this clip. The other one has 4,000 views. I posted it earlier. I was just sitting in the car and I read a comment from another video and I thought of a video topic. This is why you have to create content, because you create content and then you start realizing everything is content. And then an idea that you have or a thought that you think from a comment becomes content. And so those 2 videos, I just posted 2 videos. And the reason that I did that, I wasn't going to post at all, but I said that I'm going to stop, unless I'm taking intentional time off, I'm going to stop not posting on TikTok. Like, I'm not going to go a day without posting, even if it's just one post. And so just to keep the consistency. But I posted those 2 videos, and do you know that I spent the majority of the day off my phones. My kids had games this morning, so we were up early this morning doing games. One of them had a birthday party to go to, so I dropped her off to do that. We have family in town, so we all hung out. And I just wasn't on my phone. Like, I wasn't posting stories, I wasn't engaging, I wasn't looking at comments, any of that. And I remember this morning when I first got on the app, I was just checking numbers, checking where things were, and it was like, oh, I made $40 this morning for the cookbook. That's really cool. I made this much for this. And I just left it alone. And when I came back to my phone, I saw a short time ago the $250 from that book. And I was just like, that is crazy that a video I posted 3 days ago made me $200 today. And I just posted 2 other videos today that have nothing to do with that are probably going to go on to generate some money too. One of them is already over 1,000, so it's going to make me some money, even if it's pennies. And the other one I just posted. And I don't think that people understand, like, that's what the passive aspect of it is. TikTok Shop can essentially become passive income. You just can't rely on it long term, because it's like this. That's why people who make money on TikTok Shop and make it their full-time thing, they post every day, all day, because they understand. I posted 2 videos for TikTok Shop this week, and one of them did those kind of numbers. Can you imagine if I was posting 15 to 20 times a day? I'm not sure why people think that people are not making money. You can make millions of dollars on TikTok Shop. I also don't want to ever miss the opportunity to tell somebody how incredibly life-changing the experience of social media, TikTok Shop, all of these things can be. So if you're listening to this and you've been on the fence, take that to God in prayer and act on it if that's what he calls you to do. Not gonna hold you, friend. Yesterday and today were a joke because I was deep on family time. But today is the best day since I posted that cookbook video 4 days ago. Today was the best day by far. When I got up this morning to check my analytics for everything, I went to TikTok Shop and I saw that from that book alone, I was already at like $250 from that book. And now from that book is at $560. So that's really cool. He has earned almost $5,000 today in sales from that book. The whole thing with TikTok Shop and branding, there's a story to be told there about branding. And I think that one of the reasons that I like to talk about the multiple streams thing as a content creator is because when you start to master having multiple streams, I think that's when you really start to learn more about branding and marketing. And so I did not go live yesterday, but I did go live today. There was a lot of conviction in the room. I actually had to block somebody. I entertained the conversation at first, but then I realized that at least I felt he was being blasphemous. So I just ended up blocking him. he was just being deviant. And so that happened. But within the live, I had some feedback. People were like, yeah, I've been doing the homework. It's been going really well for me. I did not get any signups. I went live maybe like 15, 20 minutes. No, it was a little bit longer than that. Maybe like 30 minutes. But I went live for a little while. Didn't really promote anything. I kind of talked about what was upcoming. Didn't ask for any direct sales. I did have a couple people like, where do I, like, do you have a mentorship or something? And I was like, yeah, it's this, this, and this. This is where you can find it. I also did a YouTube video today. That video is not off to a great start. I may need to change the thumbnail. I think the issue is the thumbnail. It says lessons for 20 somethings and it just has a picture of me. I think I need to change the wording on the thumbnail. So I'm actually about to do that. And then I put together some stuff for the Package for the Womanhood series. I need to print that stuff so that it's ready to go out tomorrow. I do want them to get their packet by the end of the week. So I believe tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest, I need to go ahead and get it out. But I did want to prepare some things. I had some personal things that I had to do today as well, but I really was just spending time with family. I am a part of an organization that I'm thinking about stepping down from because it's not overbearing at all, but it's like typically when we're planning for an event, the planning period is like a month to 2 months. And so even though that only happens 4 times a year, it feels like a lot because every time it does happen, it takes up like a month or 2 of my life. I just don't know that it still aligns with where I'm going. So today I posted a YouTube video. I only posted a couple times on TikTok. Once was a regular video. The other one was a shop video. I posted on Instagram. I still need to do either a carousel. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for the YouTube video that I just did. I think I'm going to do a carousel post where I swipe up. Y'all know what a carousel is. I think I'm going to do a carousel post very similar to like this one right here. Where you can swipe. Am I swiping the wrong way? Something like that with a summary of the video. And then I also think I'm going to do one like this where I take clips of the video and then at the very end I have something with the words on it to promote it. And I think I'm going to post both of those tomorrow. I didn't get any sales in my business today. I got a lot of signups, which would also mean that with me hitting my lead magnet generation within a couple of days after those people go through that segment, I will have sales from that. Because if you remember, that was a video where I discussed my update from the Make More Offers challenge. There's a way that you can increase your retention and grow your business, and that's kind of the process that I'm going to be following. But first, I need to make sure that I'm consistently earning that amount that I want to work towards, the $6,000 per month. And then once I do that, I can use that model to significantly scale my business. I think I was getting ahead of myself before. Now I'm going back to the basics. There are some things that I needed to get right with my pitch and some other aspects of my business before I could move forward. So I had to stop what I was doing while I was trying to get to like, okay, let me make this much. It's like, no, you got to consistently do this. And to consistently do this, you need to make sure your pitch is clean. I noticed that the more clear I get on delivering who I'm helping and what I do, the better. Because people know what they need, even if we don't tell them. And so if you tell them what they need and they know that that's what they need, they're in. It's not, a lot of people think that they just have to lower their price point. The only thing that lowering your price point really does is it increases volume. And to me, it's the same, right? So there's no real difference in you selling a product for $30 and then you selling it for $100. It might seem like you're going to get more sales with the $30, but I thought about this when I was saying, like, that's how I knew I had to readjust my pricing. When I was selling my wifey school for $30, it equated to the same. So I had more signups at the $30 price point, but I ended up making the same amount of money in my business and extending more energy because I'm servicing more clients. So compared to my $100 product now, my $100 plus products now, it just makes more sense because I'm making the same amount of money. If I sell 10 $100 products, that means that I made $1,000 and I have 10 clients versus having to do that times 3. You're managing more people. So imagine having to manage 30 people over 10 people. And I'm not having to manage them, but being in the room and talking with those people. What I'm working on and what I'm taking y'all along with me on doing is getting to that $6,000 per month consistently just in my business, not counting TikTok, because I make $6,000 a month easy with all of my revenue streams, right? But I want my business to be able to do that. And I want to be able to scale my business, because I will say all the other streams, like getting paid from YouTube, getting paid from Meta, getting paid from TikTok with Shop and Creator Rewards program, those are not things I can outsource. If I get this thing right with my business, there's going to be certain aspects of my work that I can outsource. There's going to be ways that I can scale even more. And so I know if I get that right, that's going to be excellent. So that's what I want to work on. That is why I'm doing this. Obviously, like I said, with the numbers that I'm sharing with TikTok Shop right now, obviously it's not a problem to make that amount of money. This is about the business. And I want you to know that too. Like, when you start focusing on branding yourself and productizing yourself, if you will, and making sure that you have all these different streams, you will notice that you will make a pretty significant amount of money if you're doing these things right. But then you have to figure out like particular pieces to put it together and make it make sense overall. So it's very easy to make money from viewership. It's very easy to make money from TikTok Shop, because you're not having to create a product. You're just having to promote the product, right? But as a business owner, you're creating your product. Well, you're creating your products, you're marketing your products, you're packaging your products, you're talking about your products, you're running the back end. It's on and on. It's endless. Versus just being an affiliate, you have the product, you talk about the product, you share the product, you promote the product, and then you get a portion of the proceeds that were made, right? So in this case of the cookbook, for instance, with TikTok Shop, his business from his incredible product brought in $5,000 with the help of me showcasing that already incredible product. Because what makes TikTok Shop and affiliate marketing so powerful is you just have to know how to take that product that's already really good and show it to people. And so that's what I'm working on now in my business. Like, how do I take this product that's already good and make people understand how great it is? And so that's the beautiful part about doing affiliate marketing, doing content creation, having a business. You really start to learn how to take these skills and apply them across all of the different avenues. Something else I did today was announce the pre-sale of my book, because it's going to be launching next month. And I'm just going to go ahead and send them out on that specific day. So pre-sale is going to end then. Something that I'm doing with the pre-sale, which is kind of like, this is the pre-launch phase of the pre-sale, if you will. What I'm doing with the pre-sale is I'm giving people free shipping, and then trial access to the community that I created. So I'm hoping that, well, not I'm hoping, my goal with that is to get people enrolled in that ecosystem, see how valuable it is, and then want to stay. So now that's my continuity offer. I also want to get a lot of people to order my book, because then when I go to physically print and place the order, if I have the capital to go directly towards that and I know it's already accounted for, I can get the books for a significantly better price, because you're buying more. So like, you buy 100 copies of a book, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than if you buy like 10,000, you know? So I'm going to be doing that. This week, I'm going to be talking more about, in my content anyway, this week I'm going to be talking more about the book release and the pre-sales of that book, and kind of getting people into that chat ecosystem. But I think I'm going to shift all of my focus to pre-sale orders, because I really do want to do well with that. I want to have a good set of numbers so that when the book comes out, it's doing well already. I can get it in lots of hands. I also want to put the book on TikTok Shop. So we kind of talked about that. There's a lot that I need to do between now and November. And I did give myself such a tight crunch time, but I did it because I know it needs to be done. And because I know it needs to be done, I'm going to get it done, because that's just how I am. Good morning. So it's 11:01. Did a few things, but not very much. I actually just put the baby down for a nap, because absolutely not. I don't know what he thought today was going to be about. Something that I need to do, even though I don't think I'm going to need that time every single week, I just want to account for it. I think I want to schedule out like an hour per week on external campaigns. So I built a relationship with someone online. Like, we literally just started following each other. I don't know who followed who first. I don't know. But she's much more aesthetic. She's also a stay-at-home mom. She built a business. And we had just followed each other, always had like very similar beliefs. And she reached out to me and was telling me about her brand. And she was like, I want to send you something. So I got it. And I knew it was going to be, I knew it was gonna be no foolishness, because if you see her, she looks like quality. She looks like she don't play around. And it really is. Like, I've had this sweatshirt, I sized up, but I love it so much. One, it's comfy. Two, what I really like, you gonna get me every time with actual stitching instead of screen printing, because this is gonna last forever. I say that to say there's a couple of things. Like, even today, I sent her an email. This was very impromptu. She responded, thank God. But she sent me a book. This is the book. It's called Who Made Me? Beautiful, beautiful. Aligns with everything that I believe. Very short, but it's a children's book. And I was like, oh, this is a great book. But, you know, my experience with TikTok Shop, I was going to promote this book. I was just going to start talking about it. But I was like, I want to have a conversation with her first. So I emailed her and I was like, hey, do you have time today for a quick little Google Meet? And we're going to meet and kind of discuss what I want to give her as far as feedback. I don't have any feedback for the book. The book is excellent. Feedback is more so like, hey, before I start promoting this, I just thought you should know this, this, and this. Considering, and this is the same thing that I told Regis, the guy who authored this book. This is the same thing that I told him. I'm like, I didn't promote this book and I would be happy to continue to promote it, but you're selling yourself short by not putting it on TikTok Shop. Y'all saw the last few clips of this. That cookbook, as of today, from my post alone, he's generated like $7,000 in sales, and it hasn't even been a full week. All that to say, I think I want to go about having a day of the week where I work on collaborations and partnerships, so that I'm not carrying that as a workload every single day. So, and I know that I'm not going to have partnerships all the time. I want to build partnerships, but actually I want them to be ongoing. So, like, for instance, on this side of things, on the content creation side where I'm talking about these things, I already know, like, I'm going to start tagging the brands that I use, and I'm going to start reaching out to them. Things like Canva, things like InShot, like the practical tools that I use to run my business. Shopify, QuickBooks, not Squarespace, Stripe, all of those things. When I get to the point where I start regulating this a little bit more, I know what brands I'm going to use, and those are the brands that I'm going to work with. But in my personal brand, partnerships look more like other content creators, other business owners, other people, like individuals, personal brands, and how I want to connect with them. And so I want to start having a day where I dedicate like an hour or two, maybe that's what my work is for that day, where I do those things. Today I was finishing up, what's the book? Key Person of Influence. And one of the things that he said about partnerships is that it's really important that you like the people. Even if you like the deal, if you don't like the person you're collabing with, you shouldn't do it. And so I just really want to create space where, like I said, I'm very intentional about those collaborations, but I also have a day where I'm like, okay, these are, like, I need to create a template and a set of questions to ask myself before I go forward with any collaboration, because at this point I do get a lot, and I understand that more than 50%, you have to get this too, y'all, as you grow, more than 50% of the things that people send to me do not align. And people, there's a lot of business owners, and I think we've all been there, that have this disillusioned idea of what it means to promote your products. So they're trying to get volume. Like, I've had someone message me. He was like, how much do you charge to promote music? And you as the content creator have to realize, like, okay, that, like, I have to regulate this, because some people just see how many followers I have and they think that you could pay me and I'm gonna put it in front of my audience. No, and you have to be the person to regulate that, or you can ruin your reputation. You can tarnish your brand, because I noticed that a lot of people don't do their due diligence. Like, even some of the products, someone sent me in my back office on TikTok something for a Ouija board. Now, if you take time and go through my product, you know that I'm a child of God. Why would you send me that? And that's what I mean. So you as the content creator have to regulate those things, and you have to regulate whatever the standard is for you. So I just want to talk about that since I'm in that space now. I want to say that it's going to be like in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, where I do things like that, because what I plan to do is for every collaboration, I want to make sure that I have pictures that I can post on Instagram, because pictures do really well there. And I want to make sure that I have appropriate videos, reels for Instagram and TikTok. I don't really see myself doing much with YouTube in these partnerships unless it's a book. Even with this book, the children's book, I'm not sure how I'm gonna tie this in. I do know, I just thought about it. Oh God, it's so good. I just thought about how I'm gonna tie it in. So I am gonna do a YouTube promotion on that. So you can do links, but specifically when I do these promotions on TikTok, I want to make sure that I have certain things in order, because that's where my largest bit of influence comes from, if you will. And so I just want to make sure that those things are taken care of. But the other things that I have to get through today, I have that meeting that I set up with her. We have a clinic, optional. It's an optional clinic with the cohort that I'm a part of, but I do all of the optional clinics because it's marketing. I think a lot of people miss out on advancing just because they don't do things. In fact, when I met with my mentor at our last meeting, that's something she told me. She was like, one of the things that I really want to applaud you on is you take feedback really well and you execute, and I think that's why you're doing so well. And I love that she said that to me, because sometimes, even though I know I'm making advancement, sometimes I'm like, am I doing it? Like, you still kind of question yourself a little bit, because I know it looks like I know what I'm doing, and to a certain extent I do, but the reason that I document this is because I don't fully know what I'm doing. I'm embracing looking crazy in real time and just doing my best and learning as I go. And so it can be really nerve-wracking sometimes, so it's good to have that type of feedback. But I have to do the rest of the things that I have to prepare for today for the Womanhood series. Really, it's about to be a smooth week. I just have the Womanhood series. I don't have much else on my plate. I'm not really promoting anything else. I'm not really talking about anything else. All of my content is now going to be promoting the Wise Women's Council, which is more so going to be like my mentorship, because I also realize, I'll tell y'all this, when people want something and you have it already, you need to package it in a way that makes it for them. So one of the things I realized, and my mentor helped me realize this, I love her, I was calling the thing a group chat, and I was wondering why there was no real buzz and like hype around it, because it's a group chat. Who wants to really join a group chat? I'm going to now be marketing this as a mentorship. And in the mentorship, now this is the packaging. So when you join my mentorship, which is $30 per month, blah, 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 talk about whatever pricing. I don't even talk about pricing. You can see the pricing when you click on it. Doesn't matter, because the pricing might go up, it might go down. So who cares? If you need the thing, you need the thing. So it's a mentorship. And in the mentorship, you do get access to 2 live Q&As per month. It's an affordable mentorship, but that's because I'm expecting that to run on volume. And I'm also not going to be delivering much outside of that 2 hours per month. And so that's that. And it's also, that's my retainer item. That's my, what's the word? Continuity offer. That's my continuity offer. So mentorship, and people constantly ask me in my live stream, like, do you have a mentorship? Is there a way that I can join your coaching program? And I was saying that the Womanhood series was a mentorship, but it's not. The Womanhood series is more so like a boot camp. It's not really mentorship. Mentorship is something that's continued over time. And so when I started thinking, I'm like, duh, the mentorship is the thing that I've been calling a group chat. And so the mentorship has 2 monthly meetings, and then we also do book club. The only way that you can join my book club, the book club is a bonus of my mentorship. I am not going to be doing, I said I was, but I'm not going to be doing a separate book club, because I also realize that there are some things that I just don't want to be available to the general public. There are some things I want to be gatekept behind a paywall, because I feel like when people pay you, they stop playing with you. And some of these people on the internet be playing. Like, I had to block somebody in my live yesterday because what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You know? So the mentorship has the 2 monthly Zoom calls, live Q&A. That's for everybody in the mentorship. And then we have the chat. Mentorship individuals will get access to the Womanhood series. And then only people who have gone through the Womanhood series will be able to have a one-on-one with me. And I hope that they don't need it, quite honestly, but that option is available to them. So that is the only high ticket item. I should have another offer aside from one-on-ones, but the reason that I'm not going that way is because y'all know that I'm going towards law school. I'm trying to structure myself now. Something my mentor always says is, wherever you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, you need to start trying to live that life now. You need to start trying to build those practices up right now. So if I know I'm about to start school, if I know that I'm going to be not necessarily full, there's a reason that I'm going to law school that I don't necessarily disclose, but it's not to be a hustler, and it's not to make $1 million, because don't need to, but I obviously will be successful as an attorney. But I know that it's not going to be realistic for me to run a business that requires me to be present 100% of the time. So 5 to 10 years from now, I would like to be booked for a speaking event at least once a month. I know what my pay for that will be. I know what I want to be paid for that. Mind you, this is my plan. God might laugh at me, but let's just talk about it. And I go wherever God takes me. You know, it is what it is. But I also know what it looks like right now and what's beneficial and what my audience needs. So that's what we're going by. So I know that I want to be doing speaking events. I do still want to be running the mentorship. I can absolutely manage 2 1-hour Zoom calls a month. Like, that's nothing. I will still be able to do book club because I anticipate I will still be reading. Okay. I know that I will not be posting as much on TikTok. I will be more so in long form content. And that is just because I want the quality of my clients to improve. And I'm not going to hold you. YouTube, people who actually indulge in YouTube content, they're just more intelligent. They're just better quality people. Shout out to y'all. Even when I find people make weird comments on a YouTube video, it's not as crazy on YouTube as it can be on TikTok. Like, it's a little bit more polished, poised. They got a little bit more sense when they disagree with you over there. And so I know that, I'm not saying I'm not going to be on TikTok at all, but I just know that there's going to be a transition, and the transition is going to be, I'm still going to have this business. I'm still going to run this business. I'm still going to be helping women, advocating for women, but it will not look like me being in front of this TikTok screen every single day. Probably won't even be going live. And I think that that is also beneficial to think about now, because obviously that increases the desire to work with me if I'm not here every single day. Because I know that there are some people who are like, well, she goes live every day, so why would I join her mentorship, you know? But there are going to be benefits, because the difference is in live, I don't let people come on my live. People be like, oh, can you? No, that's one of my, no, because I'm not about to let you, I don't know what you're about to say on this live, and I don't know what you coming on here. I don't have time for that. No. So then, and it helps me to stay in control of my room when I don't let people come up. So we can talk, but we're going to talk through this comment section. If you actually want to have the ability to ask me questions and be more engaging, you can join the mentorship, because that is a benefit of people in that community. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of wrong. You don't want to do stuff like that. But you have a right to regulate your business however you like. So keep that in mind too. So what I'm about to do is work on this thing for the Womanhood series. Get ready for this meet. I have 2 meets. So I have my clinics for marketing, and then right after that I actually have the meeting that I was referring to with a lady who wrote the book. So we're going to do that, and then I believe after that, that's really it. I just need to prepare my mind for tonight. I have a couple pieces of content for TikTok that I'm going to film, but this week I'm going to let my mind just go based on commentary that I have from previous content, and that's how I'm going to operate, because this is the last week of the month, and y'all know I already know what I'm getting into next month, honey. So I'm going to do all of that, and then I'm going to film the YouTube video today, and that should be that. I probably will be done working today by like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock maybe even, depending on how much I get done. Okay, I just did the video, the YouTube video, and I have about 5 minutes to spare, so I think I'm going to spend that 5 minutes uploading the video. And while the video is uploading, I'm going to work on the packet, and then once I'm finished with that, I'm going to send out a message, a text in the group to the ladies to remind them about tonight, and just kind of get them excited and going, because we should be communicating in this app throughout the week. It is 11:56, so I have about 4 minutes before this meeting starts, and then right after this one I'm going to be meeting with the author of that book, and immediately following that I will come back to working. There was no meeting, but I did meet with the author of this book, and we talked. I figured out exactly what page we're on. She's going to send me the information I need to get that set up, and I uploaded my YouTube video, put up the podcast, put up the thumbnail, the title, the description. Sir, what are you doing? All there's left to do is to fix the packets and get those sent out. The rest of this week is just going to be content, like a couple pieces of content on TikTok every day. I need to make sure that tomorrow I'm probably going to do the blog post and the podcast tonight, and just schedule that to go up, so that all of my energy this week is going to be focused on the Womanhood series. And then Friday we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. People ask me a lot, how do I get things done? And the answer is to just do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. I have so many reasons and valid or invalid excuses for why I can't show up today. Today is maintenance day and a couple of my appointments actually got canceled. What are the odds of that? I'm in my feelings, right? But I also don't have to be, and I also have not set myself up as the creator who shows up perfectly, so I don't even know why that bothers me so much. But I'm not gonna let it stop me from recording. Also, my baby is on, I don't know what type of time he's on today, but I don't even want to wake him up, so I'm recording the rest of the things that need to be recorded or that require audio from me. I'm about to do right here in this car, because ain't no way. And listen, I know that there are certain areas of the house that I could go in and he won't hear me. I don't even want to chance it. I'm about to be a silent ninja when I go back in that house. The only work that I'm doing is typing on my computer. So part of this is also realizing there's always something you can do and you just can't allow yourself to make excuses. So I know that, like, I sent my text to myself, like I told y'all about in the previous vlog. Like, I have a thread of text messages that I send to myself, because being a content creator, being a business owner, you get ideas about things in the most random time. You can be talking to somebody and you get an idea and you may not be able to stop and go execute it, because don't be weird, right? But typically I do stop in real time. Like, I have a video idea, so I was like, let me stop and come and film that video. And I'm like, you know what, I'm already outside, so let me do an update for the vlog and let me talk about this real quick. But part of the reason that most people are not successful in the way that they want to be, and what I found with people who I try to help or I try to coach or they ask me for help, people make too many excuses. And if you make too many excuses, you're never going to get the thing done. So you have to get to a point where you have systems in place for yourself. Like, I have systems in place that allow me to be successful. One of my biggest systems is my schedule for my children. So like, my baby, he went to sleep early. It's 10:23. Ain't no way he should be taking a nap this early, but I knew he needed one because he was acting absolutely crazy. So I just put him down for a nap. But typically I know that he naps between like 12 and 2. So when I have classes during the day, guess what time I run those sessions? Somewhere between 12 and 2. When I schedule meetings during the day, it's between 12 and 2. Between 12 and 2, when I'm not doing something, that's when I film a lot of my content, especially my YouTube content. TikTok, I don't pressure myself to be perfect. But YouTube, I don't want the audio to be messed up. It's more long form. I don't want to keep getting up and stopping. So I usually try to take advantage of the fact that that is the time where he's going to be down. Same with my daughters. I know that I have to wake up and get them to school this year, which is a big change and a transition for us. But I also know, okay, well, we're already up early. There's going to be no time in the day wasted. I'm a lot more tired sometimes, but that also lets me know sometimes I need to take a nap with the baby. But it allows me to think, okay, I am working around these times, so I actually need to get things done. Whereas, and I also have things that I have to do, like outside of work. Whereas a lot of people, I think we allow ourselves to allow everything to get in the way. Like, I have full-time things and full-time commitments, but I have learned how to structure my day and how to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, no matter what. Like I said, I really don't feel like filming today because I was like, I wanted to get my eyebrows done and I was supposed to get my hair done. So now I'm just gonna do my hair, but I want to do all of this and then go do with the rest of the things that I need to do second. Girl, what even did I do today? So unproductive. But I do want to say that part of your creatorship and doing well in business is going to be your willingness to be vulnerable. I'm looking at some of the comments from a video that I did, and people always appreciate you showing them things and being open and transparent. Always regulate that. Like, don't give away too much information. Don't say too much. Don't show anything that you would not want to show. But for today, I had a meeting with Squad Up. And so this is the reason that I said I'm going to be closing my participation in that program. It has been consistently one person showing up this session, and there's multiple people who have signed up. And I just don't care to have the emotional output to keep. I just feel like also with Squad Up, people are not necessarily taking the instruction and using it, which is fine. But if you're going to do things your way, just why do you sign up, right? And so I feel like it's also taken a lot out of me because I'm preparing for the class, I'm teaching the class, and then after the class, I'm also having to like put the files together and send them the replay. And it's just no longer worth it for me. And it's also taking away precious time and energy for other things, because while my baby was sleeping today, I kept thinking, man, I could have got so much work done for the Womanhood series. And so I unfortunately missed out on that time. And then I also have an event coming up for the nonprofit that I'm on the board for. So it was a lot of phone calls and text messages and like tying up loose ends today because it's Wednesday. So I wanted to make sure that people get their information and that all the updates are given. And then I had to make a few phone calls for some PTO stuff for my child's school. So I did that. But other than that, the only other things I did today was I made one video for TikTok, which is probably going to be the only video that I do. And then I responded to YouTube comments. All the heavy lifting for my business is usually done towards the beginning of the week because I have a video that I post on Sunday, a video that I post on Tuesday, and then my podcast goes up on Friday. So really getting those 2 videos out is usually like the heaviest thing that I have to do for lead generation. But I do the work every day, so I feel like it's just a compound effect. And I also have not been going live, which I told y'all was one of the keys to me generating sales. But I'm not going live because I just don't want to overextend myself in that way. And I would not be a good teacher if I did not practice what I preach, now would I? So that's all that I have for today. Not much going on. Very, very chill day. Like I said, I had some other things to take care of, but this is why I also pride myself on doing the things that need to be done when they need to be done, so that when things like this happen where my attention needs to be averted to other things, I'm not crumbling and spiraling and trying to put things together, because there's nothing due today. I just had to post my regular content. I had a marketing clinic today, and I love going to these. These ones are optional as a part of my cohort, but he taught us something. I'm going to put this on the screen. It was really quick too, but I'm going to start implementing this week. And also in next week's vlog, I'm going to be talking to y'all about how I'm going to become, or how I'm planning to become, a key person of influence. That is a book that I did not intend to share, but I actually need to, because there's some valuable things in there. And I think that anyone in any position, not necessarily who wants to be an influencer, but who wants to create content, and maybe even you have a business, I think that you can position yourself to be a key person of influence. It's 5 really simple points that you just have to go about doing, all of which I have familiarity with or have actually completed to some extent. There's just some fine tuning that needs to happen. And I think that the book is written so well, and it's pretty straightforward. And his goal is to give you these steps so that in 12 months, you can be a key person of influence, or a key person of influence in your industry. That doesn't necessarily mean like you're a household name or famous, but it more so means that you are in a position where you're not constantly seeking after work, because you're well known, well respected, and you have a system that allows you to be paid your worth, but also that doesn't force you to work really hard. So I read that, and then there's another book that I wanted to read called Oversubscribed. I think I'm just going to read that one next, and I'll probably report to y'all my findings in the week after that, because we're going into the next vlog. But this customer decision journey, normally we think about customers in like a typical funnel, right? Where there's awareness at the top, and you basically, it's a shape like this, and all of the awareness is up here, but you know that all of your awareness does not funnel down to like sales. You end up having, let's say you have a viral video, you get 1 million views. If the video was on the right topic, addressing the right points, and pertain to your subject matter, well, that awareness of 1 million might equate to like 10,000 followers, if that, right? And then that following of 10,000 people might trickle down to like 1,000 people who download your free product. And out of that 1,000 people who download your free product, you might have yourself 100 paid clients. That's not exact numbers. I'm just giving an example of how a funnel typically works. I'm oversimplifying it because a funnel breaks down to much more than that. But that's the concept. The old school funnel is you start with awareness, and in that awareness, you continue to help this person or these people move along this customer journey until you have a client. I like this customer decision journey a lot more because it has this initial consideration. It also has a moment of purchase, but it encourages us to put our customers who have already purchased from us back into this loyalty loop. And that's something that I love that. Like, I don't want people to go through wifey school or the womanhood series or do something with me and then never come back. I want you to still feel engaged in this community unless you no longer need my assistance, right? I want you to stay and continue to be engaged in a community. And if you are no longer the woman who needs my assistance, I want you to be a part of the community to give feedback and to encourage and to uplift. And now you're on the other side of that wise counsel where you can help me to talk to these other women and pull them out of their folly. So I really need to, I know that that's what I want to do. I just need to make sure that that's the vision that is coming out. And there's always ways to do it. You just have to be aware of it. So like one of the things I struggled with earlier on in my content creator journey was some of the topics that I present were so polarizing that they made men feel seen and heard for what might have been the first time in their life. But it made them feel so seen and heard that they would then come in and make commentary. And so I had to make it clear, like, this isn't even a place for you. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way, but I'm saying I'm not talking to you. I know if you want to support, that's great, but your way of support does not need to be coming in here and dumping on other women. What are we doing? Like, that defeats the entire purpose, and what you're actually doing is being counterproductive. So I had to put that in check a lot, and I've also had to be very careful now. Even when I'm talking about a general topic, I make it applicable to women. So I might talk about personal development, I might talk about fasting, I might talk about a lot of things, but I always try to go back to, this is for women. This might apply to men, but I'm talking to women. And I do that because I almost want to shun men from joining my community in that way. And so in the way that I was able to do that and help to be like, okay, this is not a male space, this is not a place for you to be seen and heard, this is a place where I teach women to love, honor, and respect themselves. And as a result, they won't have to disrespect you to feel like they have to be empowered. And so because I was able to do that, I know that I'll also be able to think of a way or start to implement a way where the community continues even when you're on the other side. And maybe even extending that opportunity to some of the women in my community, just asking them how they feel about it. But one of the things that stood out from this call today and on this customer journey, I'll put it up on the screen, but in the initial phase, what he calls active evaluation, well, no, actually, let me go back. In the initial consideration phase, that's brand awareness. That's what we all do with content, right? Community events and involvement is what he said. And he was like, that is something that tends to be a great place of opportunity for him in business. So more than even like brand awareness, social media strategy, all this stuff, he has found that now he has high ticket items, very high ticket technology based items. He's found that building those relationships and doing those community events, doing sponsorships, those are the things that helps him to build relationships. And that made sense because not everybody scrolling on social media is ready to invest in a $5,000, $7,000 product. And then he talks about active evaluation. That's where the customer is gathering information about you. So they might be interested in what you have to offer. Maybe they go to your website. Maybe they compare you to other people. I put down an example that came up into my head along this journey of active evaluation when people are trying to make a decision between you and another person that does something similar. I put down, like, this is also my opportunity, and my website and my content needs to reflect this, where this is my opportunity to show that this one, even if you think that I'm going to help you with your relationships, is not going to be in the same way of what you see out there in the world, of what you see as far as like, be this type of woman so that you can take some money from this man and you can get him to take care of you for the rest of your life. I don't care anything about any of that, because we wouldn't have to play those types of games if we learned how to respect ourselves, value ourselves, honor ourselves, and submit ourselves to God. We would never have to manipulate anyone to do anything. And then the purchase point, that's the closure phase. Something that he said that stood out was having a smooth and reassuring purchase process, because you might look at your abandoned carts and you don't really know why, but have you gone through the process of seeing if it really is seamless to buy from you? Have you made it easy for people to exchange money? Do you have additional payment options? I have everything connected to mine. You can pay with PayPal, you can do Shop Pay, you can do any of your major credit cards, whatever. The only thing you can't do is pay with a check or cash, obviously. And then he said personalized follow-up, which I talked to y'all about that. My mentor actually recommended that to me and I started doing it. And so my personalized follow-up, I have a personalized follow-up after purchase. So that's when you get that email from me. But also, if you're in the Womanhood series, you get a physical letter from me. And so that's kind of like the personalized follow-up after purchase. Something I do want to consider is guarantees and returns. I'm just not sure how to work that into my program as a person who's a service provider. Like, money back guarantee for what exactly? And I would love to offer something like that, but I have to have stipulations in place. And I think I would have to also be like, for them to want that, they would have to show up every day, be on camera, and be an active participant for me to be like, okay, you can get your money back. Because otherwise you could just not show up and be like, actually, it didn't work for me, I want my money back. So I do want to offer something like that, but I want to make sure that I put some stipulations in place. And then there's a post-product purchase phase where we have the follow-up emails. I'm already doing all of those things. That's also at the end of our program. That's why I don't send everything at one time, because me mailing you your packet after we've done class with your certificate and all of these documents, your packet to like complete the activities following, that's an easy way for me to follow up without having to do too much, because I have to send you a packet, right? That, and then the loyalty loop part, he talked about building a long-term relationship with these clients, having regular engagement and regular check-ins with them, and then maybe even offering like some type of referral program. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because even, for instance, I don't know if I told y'all this, I think I did. One of the participants on the first day, her best friend was in the room with her, and she emailed me immediately after. She was like, I know that the classes have started already, but my friend was here, she listened, and she really wants to join. Is it okay if I gift her the session? And I was like, that's absolutely fine. So I opened it back up, but I thought about that when he said the thing about referral. I was like, oh, how cool would that have been if she did that and then she got like $30 for getting her friend to enroll, right? Now, in order for me to do that and for it to continue to make sense for me, I would obviously not offer sales or discounts on this service, probably ever. But I think that that would be really cool for people to say, hey, I took this class and I think that you would really benefit from it. And they would tell people anyway, but then they also get $30. And if you think about it, that's how marketing works. Like even TikTok Shop, people get things that they like, but they're incentivized to share those things because there's the potential to have commission. So what I'm going to be working on today is one, finishing up the packets. I just want to get through the rest of this week. I don't like overwhelming myself with too much when I have classes. Like I even have somebody trying to meet with me today. I'm like, you got 30 minutes because I don't have time to play with you. I have to be well rested and prepared. Okay. So what I'm going to do today is work on my website and making sure that my website reflects these things. I also want to finish the packet. I should record a couple pieces of content for TikTok. And I think that's going to be it. Oh, and I need to record the podcast, but I'm going to do the podcast first because the baby is sleeping right now. So it's quiet time and he's not feeling well. So he's not going anywhere but with me all week. So I'm going to work on the podcast, and then I'm going to finish the packets, and then I'm going to go ahead and start vamping up my website and like going through this process of what he gave us for the customer journey, just to make sure that my business is actually reflecting this in a way that is appropriate. And I will check in at the end of the day. I just filmed the podcast episode, and as I was finishing, I was like, ooh, that was really heavy. Maybe I should change my delivery. And then I said, no, I'm not actually. So I'm about to post it. It was a lot of conviction, and it's because it's a conversation that's been continually had. And I'm just sick of people and their foolishness. And I think you could tell in the way that I delivered it. It wasn't very triggering or anything like that, but I do think that the delivery is a lot more stern than I would normally deliver a message. And I'm not going to filter it down. I'm going to allow myself to be authentic and release it just as it is. So I'm going to schedule that to go up. I'm going to put that up. It takes about 5 minutes once my podcast is recorded. The way that I'm doing it now, the process that I go through it, because there's no editing or anything like that. I just talk, get the message out. There's no post editing process. It takes about 5 minutes to take it and to upload it, to schedule it to all the platforms. It is Friday. It's Thursday. My podcast goes out on Friday. So I like to, when I'm finished and it's ready, I like to go ahead and upload it to all of those platforms and just schedule it to go out. And that process takes about 5 minutes. So I have that. And then that's really, as far as content, that's all that I have to produce outside of TikTok videos this week. I did just post a TikTok video not too long ago, in the last clip. And the other thing that I want to get into is what we talked about on this call today. I definitely want to make those things happen. And I just want to get myself organized for tonight. I have been doing that around 6 o'clock every night. But I did reach out to the person that I needed to meet with, and we're going to meet from 6 to 6:30. So I need to free up that time. So I'm not guaranteed to really have the amount of time that I need to prepare. So I'm going to do all of that right now. And this goes back to what I said about taking those pockets of time and doing what you should when you should. Part of it is really just wearing the responsibility of, I'm going to do the things that I said I was going to do. I'm going to do the things that I know that I need to do. And I'm not going to allow myself to make excuses. Closed out this week with a little over 900 in sales, which is not the goal. I'm about $550 short of the weekly goal, but the good news is that it's just an estimate. So I could very well have like a $3,000 week,
But the $6,000 needs to break down to approximately $1,500 a week. So that is kind of what I'm aiming for. I know exactly what I did and what I should do differently. I took it a little too easy on my content machine this week because I was focusing on the womanhood series, which I'm going to have to work that out because there has to be some level of consistency in my business, even when I feel like I'm putting all of my focus on something else. So that'll be something that I kind of carry with me forward. But I also learned a couple things this week in reading The Key Person of Influence. And as I mentioned, that's some things that I'm going to be sharing with y'all next week because I'm going to be implementing them in real time. But just a little update, we are on our way. I made a lot of money in other realms of content creation, but y'all know the goal is to scale my business and to have it earning numbers consistently and not just sporadically and all over the place. So I'll see you in the next vlog.